Facebook ads has changed my life. I'm now an advertiser since 7 years. I spend millions of euro every year, just myself, on Facebook ads. And I have worked with over 100 clients in the last 7 years. I was able to move abroad to live now on an island very close to the beach. And I live here with my partner, our dog, and our life has transformed in so many ways. But this journey here has had a lot of ups and downs. It has 2 unfinished bachelor studies. It has me starting my second agency because the first one didn't really turn out, and a lot of ups and downs. But this actually was and is necessary to find my path and to find what I value in marketing and especially in advertising, which is not what so many other people value. And therefore, I want to tell this story a little bit and tell why honesty, sincerity, and realness is so important for me in advertising. Nearly 10 years ago, after my A-levels, I started studying multimedia and communication because this is an area where I was and still am very interested in. But after 1 year, I felt really dissatisfied because it was a lot of theory, but lacked so much in practice. And I wanted to do something. I kept myself kind of busy by starting my own projects. I was very interested in photography at that time and traveling a lot, photographing a lot. And from there, because of the travels and because of the photography, I created my first digital products. I wrote a guide on how to travel very cheaply and on a budget in Europe. And I created my first photography and photo editing courses, which I sold over Udemy. And this was my pathway into like online marketing, selling and creating products online. And I tried to apply the insights from the studies into the creation of my products, but there was so little insights that I was able to collect for what interested me that mainly everything came actually from research online. So I focused more on my self-education rather than the studies. And then after 1.5 years, I decided to change my bachelor. I went from multimedia and communication into business because I felt I don't learn about marketing and multimedia and photography and videography in the studies. So this I do on my own. Why not learn more about the business aspect? So I got started here, but the same frustration kicked in quite quickly. And then after a half year, I made this decision for myself to look out for projects or ways where I can work in rather than continuing the studies. And I found a position in an agency in Berlin at that time. It was in the middle of 2018, and this was the time where social media, especially Instagram, became more serious. More people and especially more personal brands evolved and wanted to be accompanied in a professional manner. And this was the focus of the agency. And I started there as the photographer. But as the demand grew and the team grew and the tasks grew, I was not only taking responsibility over the photography, I was more so structuring and guiding and creating the strategies for the clients. So this was my main part besides photography. And the first clients then after a half year or a little bit more, they wanted also to get into advertising. They did what they could do organically, but they also started to develop interest into paid media. And it started to become a little bit more popular and more opportunities were able to be used in the ads manager. Maybe some of you, the very old ones, remember that only in the right column you could advertise, and then advertising was only allowed with up to 20% of text in the graphics and so on. So these were the beginning days. And as I was interested in this, I wanted to learn about this and take the first campaigns in my hands and start with this. Because of this demand, the agency also changed a little bit its focus. Advertising became more of a focus, and I was here also leading as the brand manager this part together with a media buyer. And so my focus switched now mostly to advertising. Not only running campaigns, but strategizing, being creative, coming up with new ideas, understanding funnels, and getting a more holistic picture of what advertising is actually about. After half a year, we mutually agreed that the fit is not really there anymore with me in the agency. So I dropped out of the agency and started to look for my first own projects. These were really small projects, like working with a cafe and a burger restaurant and a small online shop. But these were my first own projects where I got my hands on. And I was living at that time in Berlin with two of my friends. And one of those friends was also interested in this whole e-commerce and online marketing area. We got to know each other actually in the agency where we worked for. And after some time, he started to present me with some ideas and asked me for some guidance, how he could get started with advertising. And so we had some exchanges and we thought, okay, why not do this together? So we started our own project together, which was selling fashion products, mainly shirts and hoodies for bikers. In Germany, where I'm from, there's quite a big market, but it is focused on like the older clientele. Most of the young bikers didn't resonate and weren't emotionally touched by the available products, so this was the focus of us. We started Riding Angels, a lifestyle brand for young bikers, and we used our insights from content marketing and from advertising to get this brand started. Our approach was to build a community mainly through organic traffic and monetize it through advertising. And after 1 year, we had over 20,000 clients and also over 25,000 followers on Instagram. And because this approach worked so well and me having success in my own projects, we also shifted a little bit more focus on the service of community building and monetizing it. And I had the first recommendations from the clients I was working with for other online shops. So we used this approach we had there and applied it for other online shops. And we saw that it worked greatly. Together, we had to come to a point where we needed to decide, do we want to do full-time biker brand or do we want to do full-time the agency? Because it was not possible to do both at the same time. And we decided to do the agency because the first reason was that we both weren't bikers and we both didn't have a great understanding of this market. We had an understanding of how to build it up technically, and when we had photo or video shootings, always the first question was, are you bikers? Which bike do you ride? And we were always like, no, we don't ride. We are not really interested into it. And from over time, this grew actually to become quite uncomfortable and also mirrored to us that we do this because it's working, but we don't do this because we're really passionate about it. We were more passionate about this technical part, about the strategies, about executing it. And so we decided to start our agency as full-time project. This was in 2021. And from there on, over the next 2 years, we had big client projects and actually were running great campaigns very successfully most of the times, and were able to help every client to get better results. Some significantly better, some only slight better, but we were able to actually create results and improvements. In this time, also with COVID and so many online shoppers, we were really successful from a monetary standpoint. Especially we had one client who was paying between 30 to 50K every month because we had quite a good share and were generating 7 figures every month for them. But over time, this actually became quite a challenge, because I, with my own development and evolution, I did not want to take on every client just because they paid money. I wanted to work with people whom I have a mutual understanding with, the products that I actually value, and not sell some cheap stuff just to make money. I wanted to actually be able to stand behind it. This became actually more challenging over time, because my business partner and I, we had different perspectives on which clients do we onboard, which products do we like, which ones do we want to support, and which ones not. And our big client, who paid a lot of money to us every month, to me, it created inside of me more and more anxiety, because we also became kind of dependent on it. And I was thinking, what if they cancel? What if they drop out? Then like our whole reality kind of changes and goes backwards. This is what I perceived at this time. And I was actually quite frightened subconsciously and mostly very tensed, because I feared that this client could leave. And also tensed because of this growing disharmony between my business partner and I, where we could not find common ground in some very important decisions. So, in the first quarter of 2023, I decided that I will sell my shares to him and leave the agency in the middle of 2023. And these were really important times for me personally, in order to reassess and create what I actually want to do. When we were doing it together, it was me who was mostly taking responsibility over running the campaigns, creating the strategies, and executing it. And I, to this point, still find great satisfaction and joy in doing this work. So after stepping away from it, I found clearer that I'm missing it. I want to continue it, but I want to continue it in a different way. And this is how I changed. First, I started again, but with aligned people together. And this is my beloved, who is a graphic designer. She and I, we started the first projects together. She's doing the creatives, I'm doing the campaign management and strategies. And then we found Nico, who is the perfect puzzle piece for us, because he's excellent in Google Ads. I don't know something about Google Ads, and for most of our clients, it actually makes sense to have both running simultaneously. So we as three started in November 2023, which is now over 2 years ago. And we focused on honest advertising, sincere campaigns and messaging, something truthful, because I do not want to have this pain again of having this conflicts on what to do and what not to do, just do it for money, but feeling this fear, this also emptiness, which is growing, and like this conflict when doing the work. When I do advertising, I want to feel at peace. I want to feel at harmony. I want to feel inspired about what I'm doing. And I can only do this with people who share this mission, and also with brands and products who are in alignment with this. Products that actually generate a value for people, and not brands or products who are just sold in order to earn money. So if you are still finding your way, and if you are still searching for what you want to do, I, from my experience, can only encourage you to be practical, to try out, and to do where you feel your satisfaction, where you feel at peace, and to not be afraid to make some changes in order to feel at peace, to be in alignment with your conscience, and to do what you actually enjoy. And I enjoy advertising. I have to this day not found an outlet where I can combine creativity and strategy so well together like in advertising. And this constant evolution in the digital world and this constant necessity to evolve in the creative world and to come up with new ideas for the same products over and over again is the challenge that I deeply enjoy and that I deeply appreciate. This was now a different video on this channel. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you've maybe found some inspiration for you, and I hope it creates a little bit more clarity on why I put so much emphasis on honest advertising and also use philosophy to create this harmony, this holistic understanding of what's working and what's not, and how to feel at peace while doing this work.